Demonstrations in Rome on the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. An interview with the Vice President of the Italian Union of Young Jews. Med Dialogues, the annual leading conference addressing issues in the Mediterranean region. Good morning. Welcome to Zeta TG. I'm Giulia Tommasi. A demonstration against gender-based violence took place in Rome in front of the House of Representatives on November 25th for the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Lisa Duso and Maria Elena Rodriguez will tell us more about it.
Montecitorio is tinged red for the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. But for these protesters, the square is closed. We want to live and not just survive, is the appeal of those who do not want the abuse to continue. The protests are directed at the government, also in the form of dancing and singing. Under fire is the Education and Merit Minister Giuseppe Valditara for his statements linking the increase of feminicides to illegal immigration.
Being here today in Rome and in many other cities nationwide has the goal of fully taking ownership of the possibilities for transformation and change in the fight against the violence.
We have filled this square, at least in part. We have not left it empty. We have filled with content that speaks out against gender-based violence, and it is these voices, those of people who every day strive to build a different world free from gender violence, that have brought us here.
A red bench stands alone in the closed square, a sign that these demonstrative acts are not enough.
Crimes against minors have risen in the past semester, along with a notable increase in pornography cases. Here's Gizem Daver with more.
The police made a report on child victims of abuse. We will now examine the types of crimes that saw an increase in violence against minors during the first half of 2024. In the past 6 months, there was a 10% increase in violence against minors compared to the same period last year. In this graphic, we can see that there was a 10% increase in neglect of minors or incapacitated people and abuse of means of correction or discipline. And there was about 80% of increase in child pornography. And in this age group of perpetrators, it can be seen that the perpetrators make of 60% those who are between 35 and 64 years old, and the other age groups make of 40%.
This morning, a 60-day truce between Israeli and Hezbollah came into effect. The ceasefire was announced yesterday by US President Joe Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Israeli army will gradually withdraw from southern Lebanon, while Hezbollah will move north of the Litani River. Lebanese Prime Minister Najib Mikati described the ceasefire as a key step toward regional stability. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni also welcomed the truce, as a long-term goal her government had pursued. In Rome, our reporter Stefania Dall'Ozzo interviewed the Vice President of the Italian Union of Young Jews about what has happened in the Jewish community since October the 7th, 2023.
The banner with the faces of the hostages of 7 October 23 is hung on the wall in the center of the Jewish quarter of Rome. Have cases of anti-Semitism increased in Italy since that day? The answer of the Vice President of the Italian Union of Young Jews, Joel Roccas.
Since 7 of October we faced an incredible amount of cases of anti-Semitism. We have done 2 surveys. One in November 2023, one in May 2024, to basically understand what was the feeling of the young Jews, and the results were basically that 1 out of 2, so 50% out of 4,000 young Jews faced or saw cases of anti-Semitism. 1 out of 3 was victim of anti-Semitism from professors and university bodies.
The attacks in Amsterdam on Israeli soccer fans create an echo of anti-Semitism in Europe. There is the same risk also in our country.
Case of Cinema Orfeo, it's a good example. Cinema Orfeo decided not to show the documentary about the Liliana Segre's life, and this is not anti-Semitism, but this is the what anti-Semitism provoke on people. It's fear to interact with Jews. It's fear to interact with the Italian minority, and this is unacceptable.
Members of the institutions, experts and politicians discussed on the future of the Mediterranean region at the MED Dialogues Conference in Rome. Rosita Laudano and Ludovica Bartolini reported the event for us.
Reporting from Rome at MED 2024, Shaping the Future of Mediterranean Cooperation. The event organized by the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and ISPI, Italian Institute for International Political Studies. This year's event continued its mission of fostering dialogue and collaboration among Mediterranean countries, addressing critical challenges in the region, including security, socioeconomic issues and sustainable development.
Lebanese women tend to be the backbone of families. It's similar to the culture. It's the Mediterranean. The mother is the backbone of the entire family. She's the one that brings the family together. Many of them are displaced. You have at least 1,200,000 Lebanese families displaced. A large portion of those who've been killed are children and women over the past year, but specifically over the past 2 months. So it's been a very, very difficult period for them. And I think it will also be a difficult period moving forward. They would need a lot of support because, as we know, in situations of conflict and then in post-conflict contexts, violence against women tends to increase. And we have a lot of concerns around that. We do have some of the security legislation and some of the frameworks needed to protect women, but it's not enough.
That's all for today. Continue to follow us on our website zetalouis.it and follow us on social media. Have a good day.